In Sudan, over 30 million of our brothers and sisters are facing complete hunger. Families are going days without food. Children are starving. The hospitals have fully collapsed and camps are overflowing. And women and girls are facing sexual violence as a weapon of war. Be a lifeline for Sudan. Donate now. May Allah make us a means of relief for others so that He, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may be a relief for us when we need Him most. Ameen. Link is in bio. Donate now.
Just because you get a great love doesn't mean you know how to take care of that love. You'll receive something that you're not ready for. Like this fairy tale love that everybody had talked about. Once I had received it, it was like, this is too much. This is overwhelming. And I didn't appreciate it for sure how I should have appreciated it.
Trigger warning. This episode contains material of highly sensitive nature, including suicide, which may be triggering to some individuals. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is your girl, your bestie, your certified lover girl, Adel. And welcome back to the safest space for stories that feel like a group chat, sound like therapy, and hit like a warm hug. You're listening to the Digital Sisterhood podcast. So here's the thing. We can't do Lovember without sharing an epic love story. It's kind of the whole point, right? Love in all its messy and magical and unpredictable glory. Now, this isn't our first Lovember rodeo. This is season 2, meaning we have to do it bigger, better, dare I say, bolder. But let me be honest for a second. That's exactly where my anxiety kicked in. Because my biggest fear this season wasn't finding a story. No, that part's easy, because love is everywhere. The challenge was finding the story. The one that makes you pause, that makes you text your bestie mid-episode like, girl, have you listened to this? But here's the real kicker. Even if I did find that story, would the people living it be brave enough to share it, to open their hearts, their history, their vulnerability with you, with me, our entire Digital Sisterhood community? Listen, that's where the tension is. But that's also where the beauty and honestly, the magic of Lovember. Because love stories aren't just about romance. They're about courage, about choosing to be seen fully and unapologetically. So, buckle up, sis, because we found it. Today's story is worth the wait. Before we get into your story, I actually have some questions for you about the topic of love. How would you describe yourself? Would you describe yourself as a lover girl, or would you describe yourself as, no, I mean, I was kind of a regular girl and then love found me and then I realized, okay, I could go on. Like, which one were you?
No, I'm a lover girl down. Mm-hmm. No, I love love. I love love. I grew up watching Bollywood and any kind of yeah, come on. All it is love. It's like, you know, Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol, like those are my people. And I think just watching it from a really, really young age, I knew I was going to have a breakdance kind of love. Like all of a sudden we're chatting and he's going to say something and I'm like, then boom, I got a crew. Like I just knew that was going to happen in real life. The fact that it doesn't happen in real life is like, oh, that's actually kind of depressing. Like this is adulthood. So my mother is a revert. She's a Mexican revert. My father, he was raised Muslim. He was kind of out in the streets, you know, just a little bit. And that's how he met my mom. They actually met at a party. And then after that, I think they were just kind of like a bit inseparable. They got married very, very young. I think my dad was maybe 19, 20, and my mom was like, I think she's a year younger than him. So maybe she was like 18, but they started really, really young. And so they got married and then they started to have us. I am the third.
Third of 5 or third of 4?
Third of 5 with my father, but third of 8 total.
MashaAllah.
So my father went into prison when I was 5. So I didn't have a childhood with him. My mother, after my father went into prison, really, there was 5 of us when my dad went into prison. 5 children she had to take care of. And I think that she just really wasn't ready for that amount of responsibility. So my mother wasn't really around. When people ask me, like, were you a mom and dad's girl? I'm like, I was an aunt's girl. I was, like my aunt, loved her down. I would give her the world and the stars and everything in it. My mother would have us part-time, and maybe when it got too much for her, she would give us to our grandmother and our aunt, and we'd stay there for a couple months, and it would be this kind of back and forth because it was too hard for her to do it by herself. And so we were raised with my aunt. And my memories is, wow, everything. She was the kindest, sweetest woman who, like, actually made me a lover girl. She's a lover. When I say lover girl, like, she'll go to war. Like, that's my man, that's my man.
Oh, my goodness.
She could coin that phrase. And she was like a pure example of love. There was 5 kids that she had to take care of that she didn't give birth to any. Mind you, when I say aunt, this is not blood related. This was my aunt-in-law, I guess you could say, right? Her name is Amina, Auntie Mina. We call her Auntie Mina. And she was married to my mother's brother.
Wow.
And she would just take us, like all 5 of us. And it was never a problem. When I tell you she took care of us for years, I never can recall a time where she said, oh, this is too much. I don't want to do this.
Wow.
Oh, I have to, taking care of 5 children and not a complaint in sight.
Wow.
And I tell her, every time I talk to her, I tell her, like, you never once did you ever make us feel like a burden. And I'll never forget that. Never will I.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. When you think of Auntie Mina, like, what's your favorite memory? Like, I can tell you talk about her fondly. So what is, like, your favorite memory that kind of really describes the kind of person she was?
She's sweet. She's so sweet. She's so kind. She'll make you feel so loved. She makes everyone feel included. She will always compliment you. And I would say, like, my best memories with her are she would wake up in the morning, she'd drink coffee, and she'd do puzzles.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, she'd do puzzles. And she'd have puzzles and she'd have her morning coffee and then she'd have some kind of snack with it. And in the morning, she would get up really early, really quiet before all the kids were awake. And I would get up and she'd be like, shh, she'd tell me to be quiet and not wake anybody up. And I would do puzzles with her before everyone woke up. And, and to this day, I love puzzles. To this day, I still do puzzles.
That's so sweet. What's her, like, love story? You said that, she's a lover girl to the core. Like, what is it about her story that makes her, like, a bona fide lover girl?
Bona fide lover girl? Okay. You know what? My aunt, she married my uncle very, very young. So, like, in their teens, right? They got married in their teens back when it was, like, normal to get married at 18. Nowadays, that's not happening. But back then, she'd met my uncle, fell in love. Like, she loves that man, loved him, would give him anything. And she has. And, they met when they were in their teenage years, and then they got married. My uncle reverted to Islam. You know how reverts are. They're strict about Islam in the beginning. Yeah. They're like, no, we have to get this right. Trying to revert all their girlfriends, trying to convert all their girlfriends to everybody.
Yep, they said, you're coming with me. I'm not leaving you behind. Ain't nobody being left behind.
So my uncle, he was a convert to Islam as well as my aunt. And he was like, you're coming with me. And she's like, anywhere you go, I'll go. And they've been together since they were, like, I'm going to say, like, 15, 16. Like, they've been dating forever. And, yeah, so I think just, like, experiencing and, like, her just, like, no matter what, showing us, like, never giving up hope in love. Like, I think that maybe if I think about seeds that were planted, for sure, my aunt was like, Jameelah, there's love out there, and you'll find it. Whether it's a Bollywood movie, whether it's Disney, like, it's out there. Like, it's there.
What were your childhood memories like with your father?
So honestly, my memories of my father, like, very, like, blurred in my childhood because I was so young when it was happening. I have, like, visions of him coming in and out of, like, he traveled a lot. He was a drug dealer and he had money. He would come home and he'd have a bunch of gifts. I remember this. He would have a suitcase of gifts that he would bring over from overseas, or he'd go to Mexico, probably trying to make for the time that he wasn't around and make up for that. But he'd come home with gifts. And we would all sit around and he'd say, I got this one for Yasmina, and I got this one from Jameelah, and I got this one for Saeed and Nadia. And he would give us our gifts. Besides that, I recall the day that he got arrested. I remember it. Like, as crazy as being a 5-year-old it is to see your father arrested, I remember it. It was actually Eid.
What?
Yeah. It was on Eid. And we had gotten all prettied up. I was wearing orange that day. And we were on our way to Eid. We were on, like, a long road. I think we were coming from Georgia to South Carolina. It was like a community kind of thing. And all of us were in the back seat. We were driving in a caravan. So we have, like, 3 cars. We're rolling deep, We're kind of like in the backwoods of South Carolina woods. It's daytime. We're driving. Then all of a sudden, out of the woods and the streets, I'd say maybe like 10, 15 police cars pull up. In front of us, beside us, on the side of us, on the back of us, like surrounding us. The lights are on, the guns are pulled on all of us.
Oh my goodness.
Right. I mean, they probably were like rifles at this time that I can remember. The guns are out. Everybody get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Oh my.
You know, I remember just kind of looking at my grandmother's like, sit down, be quiet, don't say anything. Don't say anything. So now they're up to the car. Who are you? Da-da-da-da. So they're going to each different car and asking each individual person, is your name Tabari Zahir? No. Is your name Tabari Zahir? They get to our car. I don't remember my father being in our car, but I remember my grandmother. And she was saying, don't say anything. Don't talk to them. And my brother, who was, 7 at the time, you know, they say, where's Tabari Zahir? Is Tabari Zahir in this car? My brother goes, that's my dad. Like,
oh my God.
You know, I remember being petrified. My grandmother said, don't speak, so I'm not speaking. Obviously, they grabbed my father out of whatever car he was in, and they cuff him. So I see him, like, just kind of being walked away from the car. They had grabbed him, they took him, and then I remember just the day being, like, insane. Like, just trying to have a good Eid after that on our way to celebrate. There was no celebration. I remember my mother just crying. Everybody was crying. I wasn't crying because I wasn't really aware of, you know what's happening, but you don't really know. You know, your parents my mom could have said, it's okay, they're going to bring him back. And I'd be like, oh, he's coming right back. You know, like, you have no idea. So I think that was a memory of him kind of being taken away from us.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah.
Especially at that age, you don't know what it means. You don't know what it means. Like, that's the thing. They don't know what that means. Like, what does it mean to be taken, your father to be taken that way? But what an Eid. That is insane. That is insane. I'm still there on the road. That's so crazy. SubhanAllah. For you guys to experience that. So what was like after that, like without your dad? I would imagine your mom, like I know that, you know, Auntie Mina to be around. And at this point, it's like all hands on deck, basically. Like there's a lot of us here. Yeah. It's all hands on deck. But I guess describe to us what your mom was like after that. Did she move on? Did she hang around for a while?
Okay.
Like, what was the situation?
So after that, I remember things moving very quickly. All of a sudden, we had gone from living in Atlanta to living in the property my father had bought. I think my father, to be honest, always knew it wasn't a matter of if, it was always a matter of when he'd go to jail. And so he was kind of setting us up, and I think to his best ability, to be okay when he went in. And so we moved immediately on the land, and it was like 9 acres of land that he had built a house on. I think that was just the beginning of the downfall of kind of like our lifestyle and my experiences in childhood. So we move, you know, we're there for a little while. And as far as how it progressed is like, I remember maybe being there for about a year. We were there for about a year and things were good. I kind of remember it like things being okay. It was just us and my mom. And she was really sad. I remember her crying all the time. Like, I can imagine how hard it was. We went to go visit my dad a couple times while he was like on trial. Like, you're in county jail at that time. You're not in prison yet. And while you're awaiting your trial, I don't really remember the day when he was sentenced, but I do remember my mom being like distraught and like the family being very sad when they told him he had lost and they had given him, I think, 18 years.
18 years.
18 years.
That's a life.
That's a life, yeah. Like, I'll be 20-something by the time he gets out.
Yeah.
And so now he's been sentenced and we are now coming down with the reality that he's not going to be home anytime soon.
What was the atmosphere at home at that point?
I think sadness. Just very like, what are we going to do without the person who really held this family together? And it wasn't just my mom, right? He took care of his sisters. He took care of his brothers. He took care of his mother. His father passed away when he was 7, so he didn't have a father in his life. It was just him. He had to figure it out at a very young age, and that's the route that he chose. And so the person that held this family together is now gone. What are we going to do? We're all looking at each other. I'm 6. I'm like, look, we'll start a lemonade stand. You know, we're looking at each other. And so, yeah, it was just a matter of like, now what's next? Now we've got to rely on ourselves. I think that was really the atmosphere and like the energy in the family.
After Jameelah's dad was sentenced, her mom decided to divorce him and remarry. Because what else is she going to do with 5 kids? How else is she going to provide stability and protection? So she gets married and she moves her entire family to New York and has a child. But unfortunately, the relationship turns absolutely toxic. And after 5 years of fighting and trying to get her divorce, she gets it and she leaves. In a final attempt, though, to settle her kids and her family, she gets married again. And unfortunately, that's not successful. So once again, Jameelah and her family pack it all up and move to Colorado, this time to be with family once and for all. Now, as a result of the instability, though, her relationship with her mom hit an absolute new low. So question, what did all of this do to you? You know, like you're seeing your mother just trying to survive. There's two things happening. A woman who's surviving, right?
Right.
A woman who's also been outcasted by a community that she believed were on the haqq. But then obviously it was confusing. I'm unhappy. What is this? You know? And then you guys. So what did this do to you?
Ah, man. I think I was looking for an escape. I don't think that I was even along the lines of, oh, fairy tale, or do I believe in love anymore? It was more like, how do I escape the situation that I'm in? Like, I don't know that I even had the luxury of falling in love. That's how it felt. Like, you don't have the luxury of falling in love. You have the luxury of going to school, doing well, getting a job when you're in your teenage years, and making it work for yourself. Because I didn't have anything. We were poor, mind you. Like, we didn't have anything. After my dad went into prison, he left a little bit of money. We used that up within a year or so. And then we were kind of reliant on, you know, my mom's second marriage to Rashid, which was really toxic. And he really didn't have enough money to maintain both like that. So we were very poor. I mean, sometimes we'd have electricity, sometimes we wouldn't. You know, sometimes it'd be really bad. We'd be cooking outside. I remember my mom being so poor that she would have to like borrow formula from the neighbors.
Wow.
We just really didn't have any money, right? And so, which was night and day from the lifestyle with my dad. And so, you know, she leaves or whatever. And it got to a point where now it wasn't really about love for me. It was about survival. I put it on the back burner. Love, back burner. Survival, that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to focus on, I remember just telling myself, no matter what, I'm going to make it out of this situation and I'm not going to make the same decisions. You know, you go through this and you see your mother struggle and trying to look for love. Like, she's looking for love too, sure. She's looking for love and she's not finding it. We were kind of like living with my aunt at the time. We hadn't like moved out on our own place. And we're like going to this non-Muslim school for the first time. It was a huge culture shock. We're all really excited if you think about it. It's a new experience. I'm like, I remember talking to my father on the phone because we would have conversations from jail. We would write. Remember when we used to write letters? That's not a thing anymore. But we used to write letters to my dad. And my dad was just like, I'm scared you're not going to be able to hold on to your deen. Like, he just was like very afraid that we would go left. And we did. You know, like, he just was very like, he knew that there was no Islam in Colorado. He's like, that's why I moved from there. Like, that's why I moved you and your mother. Like, I did not want you guys to be there. I'm like, we don't have any support anywhere else, Dad. Like, this is where we have to be. And man, we walked in there. I felt like, I think like immediately I just felt, wow, like, one, nobody else here looks like me. Immediately. As I was going through my classes, I was going through my day-to-day. I've always been myself. So like, I would be like, hi, my name's Jameelah. And predominantly it was just white kids. So not only was it no Muslims, it was just predominantly white children. And that was a culture shock. I went from Atlanta to Colorado. And I'm like, everybody dresses different. Everybody talks different. I thought I was looking cute in my little jewelry, my little turquoise shirt, and my black pants. I just knew I was that girl. And everybody was like, Colorado here. Like, it was very different. And I felt like an outcast. This feeling to conform. I wanted friends. I wanted a community. I wanted to feel like I belonged. And so for the first year, it was a bit of a struggle, right? Like, slowly the hijab just got pulled back just a little bit. I just wanted them to see my edges a little. Just, you know, there's the edges.
I got some hair, just so they know.
You know what I mean? Then it was like, okay, at first I was wearing more modest clothing. Then it kind of transitioned to whatever they were wearing. And then my mom wouldn't know, you know? And so a year in, we're all slowly starting to lose Islam. A year in. I would say I was about 16 at this time. We're not praying. We're not going to the masjid. We're not a part of the Muslim community. It's just us at home. So senior year, I had decided I wasn't going to wear the hijab anymore. I felt as though, like, I didn't know much. If someone asked me about Islam, I would say, like, this is what I believe. And then they'd ask another question, and I wouldn't be able to answer it because I didn't know Islam. I couldn't even defend my own religion, let alone how could I practice this? That's how I felt like. And so senior year, I, you know, took off my hijab and I wasn't practicing at all. I wasn't doing anything really crazy, but, you know, you start to be involved. The minute, it's like the hijab is a protection because people know you're not with nothing crazy. It's like almost like a barrier between you and the dunya.
Yeah.
People recognize you for something different and they treat you differently. And they, I think, tend to be more respectful. And they know you're not about any madness. They know you're not going to go out and wild out. But the minute you take off the hijab, they don't know that you're Muslim. And at that point, my mom had taken, was deep in the nightlife. And she had taken off her hijab as well. So senior year, right, I realized I didn't have much options. I was homeschooled. I didn't have a good GPA. I had a really crazy life at home. My mom was never home. And when she was home, she was erratic. And she just my mom was just like her worst, I think, at this time. I didn't even recognize her sometimes. The woman I had known back on the land was not the same woman that was here. She was never home. We were always struggling. We always needed money. I didn't do well in school. I wasn't set up, and I just did not have the ability to use school as a means to go to college or as a means to do well. It was you have limited options.
Jameelah's childhood was uprooted one too many times. From her dad being taken away at such a young age to watching her mom struggle to hold everything together. Life taught her resilience before it really even taught her rest. In the chaos of survival, Islam quietly slipped into the background. And so did love. The truth is, love has a funny way of finding us right when we least expect it.
So in Colorado Springs, right? In Colorado Springs, on Sunday, everyone goes to the skating rink. If you're anybody that's anybody in that military town, you're going to be at that skating rink. And I was 17 at the time, so I was still pretty young. And you had to be 18 because it's like adult night or whatever. But I had an older sister, and I was like, need that ID. Thank you. So I went to the skating rink. Every Sunday, you go, you have fun, you're over there dancing, y'all vibing, it's a good time. You know what I mean? You're not doing anything crazy.
When you're saying a skating rink, you're not talking about ice, you're actually talking about rollerblading, right?
Rollerblading, yeah, like a skating.
Yes, because it's a culture, the dancing and all that. Yeah, I get.
So we would go all the time, me and my sisters. It was just a time, the girls got dressed up, we'd go there, and it was just this culture. And so we went and we would go skating every Sunday. So one Sunday, as we usually do, we go skating. And we're skating, we're having fun, as we usually do. We're whatever, just dancing to the music. Then me and my sister, we get ready to leave, and we go to the car. Now, we were poor. I just need to emphasize this. If I haven't said it enough, we were in this, my grandfather gave us this very old truck. It was it was from the 90s or something, so old. We had parked it in the corner, hiding it so nobody would see it. We don't want people to know that we're very poor and so let's hide our car. So we would hide it in the corner. So as we were getting ready to leave, we did, there was two guys who followed behind us. We didn't see them, that they were following us yet, but we got to the car and we were getting ready, turning it on, and we had rolled up the windows, getting ready to leave. And someone had knocked on the window. And my sister rolls it down. You know how you had those old cars that you have to roll the window down with?
It's you have to keep telling me, just 1 minute. Just 1 second, it's almost there.
We had to crank the window down, dude. And I'm yeah, what's going on? What's up? And he's look, I saw you skating at the skating rink, and you look so beautiful, and can I get your number? And I'm nah, you can't have it. I don't know what I was saying, but I was look, no, I need to get home. You can't have it. So my sister, my sister's chill. She just was kind of okay, if you want to give it to him, you can give it to him or whatever, but you don't have to, whatever. And he's look, he's persistent. He's no, let me get your number. Let me get your number. And I'm no, it's okay. He's look, okay. He's fine, don't give me your number. But my friends, we're out here with my car, and we're doing a trend. Remember the trend that came about when it was at night, I think of you.
Yeah.
And then you start doing that little dance.
Outside the car.
Yeah. And he's come do it with me, come do it with me. And I literally told him, I can't dance. I don't have any rhythm. And I remember him just being so kind. And he was don't worry about it. Don't worry about being embarrassed. I won't embarrass you. I'll show you how to do it. And then I was okay. So I got out of the car. I have the video to this day.
Oh my goodness.
He's showing me this little rudder dance, and I think of you. And he showed me this dance. And after that, for sure, I gave him my number. I'm for sure, you got it. And he's we'll link up tomorrow. I'll hit you up. Did it on Snapchat. And I'm okay, bet. So after that, we get in our car and we drive away. I was so embarrassed. So embarrassed. And we drive away, and he hits me up. And then, our first date, he comes and he picks me up from the house. I was actually staying at my uncle's house at the time, and he's rich. My uncle is rich. I was babysitting his dog for him, and he's rich. So it looks like I have a lot of money when he comes to pick me up. Like, I don't know, I always felt this need to like, oh no, like I don't want people to know that I'm poor. That was a big thing for me. So he came to pick me up, and he had a nice car. He was in the Army. He had a nice car. I remember he had a Lincoln MKZ.
Ooh.
Yeah, it had the roof, like the sunroof. It was so gorgeous. A gorgeous car. Yeah. Gorgeous, gorgeous car. Remember he came to pick me up, and he was so kind. He was so sweet. When I was coming out of the door, he had stood by the passenger door and just stood there and waited, opened it up, and waited for me to get in. Like, he stood there, waited for me to come down.
What a gentleman. Jameelah doesn't know it yet, but here she's about to go on a date with a guy. And I'm not talking about no regular guy. I'm talking about the guy in a rom-com film that ends up being endgame. I'm talking about Jamie from Outlander, Rahul from K3G, but most of all, he was Prince Charming from Cinderella in the classic 1950s edition. And his name, this prince, is Christian. Christian grew up in a strict Christian two-parent household. He was the only child, but the golden child that promised his veteran grandfather in his final days that he would go to the military in his honor. And he was a man who kept his promise. Christian was the type of guy that honored it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure he was. And so I get in the car, we have our first date, and I'm just realizing, like, man, this guy, like, he's so kind. I had told him, like, oh, I don't want to come out because, like, I'm not dressed to come on a date. And he was like, look, it doesn't matter. Like, we'll go anywhere. And I remember he took me to the store because I said, I'm not dressed. I have slides. I don't have shoes. And he took me to the store and bought me some shoes.
Wow.
So that I'd feel comfortable to go on a date with him. And so then we had sushi. And then after that, it was kind of like history. Like, the rest was like, let me take you out. And he kind of like wined and dined for sure. He was a little bit older. So he was 19, I was 17. And we were just kind of together. I think at this point in time, like, I was still going through it at home. My mother had kicked me out of the house plenty of times throughout high school. And I was living with like friends and trying to figure it out. Because me and my mother had a very like tough relationship. It got to a point in your teenage years where you start to confront your parents. And that's what was happening. Like, I just kind of was angry with the situation. And that kind of like translated to my interactions with her. I feel like this is a terrible situation and you're putting us in it. So I'm going to go back and forth with you. So we would, and my mother would be like, get your shit, get out, da-da-da-da-da. And so, I would leave. And so at this time, like, Christian, he brought stability to my life. And he was, like, so calm. He was such a calm person in the sense of, like, whatever you need, I'm there. So anytime I would get into a fight with my mom, we would physically fight. He would come pick me up. And he'd be like, you can stay in the dorms with me. So I would stay in the dorms, even though you're not really allowed to do that in the military. He'd be like, I'm going to come grab you. And then when they come do an inspection check, you're going to hide in the closet. And I'm like, okay. So that's how it goes. He was always like, like there for me. Like, he was always there for me. He's like, I'm sorry this is happening with your mother. I'm sorry that she's just not supportive and she doesn't help you and she doesn't like, I'm sorry about your relationship. So he always was like trying to help me feel grounded. So it got to a point where we were talking about like, he's like, you need to move out. And what are you going to do after school? And I was like, look, my GPA is on the ground. Like, I'm barely passing my classes. I don't really have much options. And he was saying, like, why don't you join the Air Force? He was like, the Army? No, Jameelah, never join the Army. The Army is tough. It's like, he's like, I would never allow you to join the Army, but you should join the Air Force. I remember before I had finally decided to join the military, me and my mom had gotten into it. Real bad fight, like so bad. And I had packed my stuff up in a plastic bag. And I told my sister, like, can you pack all my stuff up? Because like me and mom just got into it. She kicked me out. And like, I need to grab my clothes and my stuff out because she said I can't come back. So my sister went in and she packed all my stuff and threw it over the gate that was near the house so that I could grab it and go with Christian. And at this point in time, Christian's like, the only way that you will be able to be stable right now before you join the military is if we get married. I was like thinking in my head, like, how else what else can I do? And when I say get married is in the military, when you get married, they let you move off base. They give you more money for your spouse so that you're able to get an apartment. So his thing is like, you need to get out of this house. You don't have anywhere to go. The option is we get legally married and I'll put you in an apartment.
Wow. Your Christian was like...
Yeah.
Wow, what a kind man. You know what? It sounds like to me Christian grew up in a stable home.
Yep.
Like, you can just tell by the way that he's just so giving.
Yeah.
And hates that you're in that situation. Like, hates it.
Yeah. He was. I didn't expect, I think, to... Like, I knew at this point, now I got to make this work. And I got to somehow convince this man he's got to become Muslim.
Pause. I got a message for you. This season is in partnership with Muzz. Love takes courage, and it takes a space that honors your journey. Muzz is built for that, with privacy, sincerity, and intention at every step. It's an app that's trying to help you meet someone who truly sees you.
That was all my mind. Like,
yeah.
Somehow I have to convince Christian that he becomes Muslim because my family's not going to accept you. Even though we're not practicing Muslims, like, we're kind of hypocrites, but even though we're not practicing, it was still in my heart, like, I know what's right. Like, I have to marry a Muslim man. We don't tell anybody for a while. But I tell everybody, look, I decided I'm going to go to the Air Force. He basically helped me, facilitated my whole way. While I was in the Air Force, he wrote me every single day. When I was in basic training, you know, I didn't have a very supportive family. My mom didn't show up to my graduation or anything like that. And it was just him. But he wrote me every single day in basic training. And it's very hard because you can't talk to anyone for 2 months. You only get letters. So you're in this place and you're training and they're waking up at 5 a.m. and they're saying, trainee, trainee Abdul Zahir, get up. And then they make you get up. You go outside and you work out for an hour. Then you're just military. They're teaching you drills. They're teaching you like Air Force culture. They're teaching you everything you need to know. And you don't have the ability to call home and say, I had a bad day, or I was overworked, or they screamed at me, or they made us all do 50 push-ups because someone messed up drill. You don't have that. All you have is these letters at roll call. So at 6 p.m., they say, everybody to the day room, and they hand out these letters. Christian would color coordinate every letter. So he knew every letter that he would send me. So he bought a stationery that was neon colors, that was like pastels and all these different colors. And he would write me and he said, I want you to know that when you're getting a letter from me, it's from me. So he would make sure that I knew that whatever crazy color was coming out of that like mail pile from like my instructor was from him. And he would write me every single day. Just letters and letters and letters and letters of just expressing how much like he missed me being not there and I could get through it, and that I would express like my struggles through basic training, and I'd say it was really hard today and I'm trying my best, but I really want to be home. And he would say like, this is your time that you grow. This is your time that you're going to come back and you're going to be so proud of yourself. I'd never done anything like that before, right? I had no idea what it would be like to join the military and how hard it would be. And he stuck by me this entire time.
Hey, baby. I'm writing to you this morning just to tell you that I love you. I hope this letter finds you in high hopes and in good spirits. It's the 10th of July, and all I can think about is the time that's keeping us apart. I want you to always remember the time we spent together. I didn't think it was possible, but my love for you has grown stronger than it ever has. Cannot wait to see you and show you how proud I am of you. I just want you to always know I'd die for our love. I am a man who would kill to see you smile. I am a man who would die to see you live. You are everything to me, and without you, I am nothing.
First of all, I just want to say Christian sounds like a man written by a woman.
Yeah.
No, he actually sounds like, I'm sorry, you know the part that I find so beautiful is that how intentional he is about how he wants you to feel about him. And it's like, especially being with a woman who feels particularly in her life not supported.
Yeah.
Right? That he would create color-coded letters before you even read it. He wants you to know, you got me though.
Right.
You know what? Because I would imagine that boot camp is very lonely. I would imagine it is extremely lonely. And I mean, the boot camp the intention is to kind of a little bit break you a little bit.
Yeah,
right? It's like the intention is supposed to be rough. And yet he was your family.
Yeah. That's all I had.
Wow. That is just...
So he was the only one after 2 months of going to basic training, going through the challenges of basic training, that showed up to my graduation. And he drove all the way there.
Oh my God, please talk about the tap out. Because I don't know military, but I know the tap out.
Okay.
And it's always this beautiful. So walk me through it.
Okay. So beforehand, you have what is called is like an airman march or like an airman's run. So what you do is basically you're running like a mile with your entire flight that you've been there with for 2 months. So you're hanging out with 60 girls in a room for 2 months and you're struggling like you are. And you finally get to run out into like, they're in a stand, like they're in the stands and you're below and you're marching to them. And then you'll do like your airman's run. So you'll jog And then I see this as I'm jogging, and I'm trying not to look, because they say, you need to be forward. Don't look in the stands. They tell you to be like, you need to be straight. And I'm looking for him in the stands, And then as I'm running, I see this huge poster. It's a huge picture of me, probably like the ugliest photo you could find, but he picked it out. A huge picture of me, and he's just standing there, and he's waving. And I think I just started to cry as I was running. Like, wow, like, to have something like that. Not everybody did, and everybody was telling me in my flight, like, did you see the banner of yourself? And the girls, I would read them the letters, and they'd see, like, his cursive handwriting and his stationery, and that he would write me. And they would be like, oh, my God, we saw Christian. Like, my whole flight knew who he was because of how he was. And they'd say, we saw Christian in the stands. And then after that, you take a shower, and you get in your uniform, and you get ready to march. So everybody's marching, and the families are just kind of like in the stands, kind of waiting. Your instructor comes, they hand you a coin, and they say, welcome to the United States Air Force. They say, your training's done. Now you're no longer trainee Abdul Zahir, you're now Airman Abdul Zahir. And then they put you at ease. Now you're waiting for someone to come tap you out. And so you're sitting there, you're waiting, because they have to find you. So it's just Christian. Oh, I knew he probably knew where I was before I even got there, if I'm being honest. And so I'm sitting there waiting. He does not come and tap me out. He comes and basically wrestles me with a hug. He does not tap me out. He hasn't seen me in 2 months, And he comes and he basically wrestles me, and he tells me, he goes, baby, they told me that I couldn't park there and that I had to park at the bottom, but there's no way, because I knew you were going to be so tired after marching that you didn't want to have to walk all the way down the hill. He's like, so I parked there, and I don't care if they told me to move, I didn't move. And that's how he was. But then it was just me and him, The rest of the time there, they give you like a weekend to hang out together, and it was just me and him. And I really didn't have anybody. I think that's like, no one showed up for me. And that's how it usually was. I know my sisters would have if they could, but we didn't have any money. My younger siblings, with my mom didn't have any money or whatever. I didn't have a good relationship with her anyway, so I really didn't expect her to come.
The Christian was there. And he made it special for you.
Yeah, always, yeah.
Loud and proud with your face on a poster. He still like made you seem like Beyonce in that. Like, you know, like you were the woman that like everybody needed to know. And like, I just love that he didn't tap you out, that he grabbed you. Yeah. Well, it's just so not protocol. He just was like so overcome by his emotions and feelings for you that he just embraced you the way he did. And I think it's hard not to look at that and think, subhanAllah, like, you know what Auntie Mina said, the love that you're looking for is out there. And for you, it came full force in a different way. It came at a sore pain, but he somehow encompassed everything you needed in a man at that time.
I mean, more than I needed, if I'm being honest, right? So after basic, I was still kind of struggling with the fact that I'm a Muslim woman. I'm with this non-Muslim man who loves me deeply. And nobody knows we're married. Nobody knows we're married. And so we go back, and it gets to a point where we finally tell my mom and my family that we got legally married. I don't think that they really acknowledged it, right? They don't. Muslims are going to be like, no, y'all are hanging around. Like, y'all are boyfriend and girlfriend. Y'all are not married. I just tried because to him it was important, To him it was like, I want people to know, but I still struggled. I'm like, but it wasn't like that for me, or like, no, we did this for a reason. And like, it was such a struggle for me. So we finally told everybody, and man, that was tough for me to tell people.
Because you weren't happy. You weren't happy about how it was.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because Christians thinking this is as real as it is for me.
Right.
For you, it's like, no, brother, we're missing God. Like the God, like, we're missing.
Right. And it got to a point where, eventually, like 2 years in, we got married in 2016 and 2018. It got to a point where, like, when you don't practice, if you were ever Muslim, right, when you're younger, and then you stop practicing, there's something that always is in the back of your mind that is always calling you back to Allah. It's like something that's always there, that is like, it's a call that was always being rung in my ear. I always heard it in the back of my head, like, it's time to come home. You need to start practicing. When are you going to pray? When are you going to start getting your life together? I was in the military, After I was in the military, the culture is not anything Muslim. The military is like drink, party, work 12 hours a day, and get 2 days off. That's what it was for 6 years for me. And I was really struggling. Like I was struggling in my military life, my married life, and trying to navigate wanting to practice, but not wanting to practice. And so it got to a point where 2 years in, I told him, like, I can't be with you anymore. We have to leave each other because I have to, like, get right with Allah. Even though I wasn't right, it was like, I just need to start. And this is, like, not right for me. So at this point, my father comes to visit me. And me and Christian had just kind of talked, like, basically kind of gave him an ultimatum. Not that I gave him an ultimatum, it basically was like, I have to leave and these are the reasons. Whatever you do with this information is what you do with this information, but I can't be in this relationship. And so when my dad came to visit, Christian decided that he was going to become Muslim.
Wow. I just want to know, like, what was your breaking point that you say, yeah, haram life written down? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just, you know what I mean? You're like, I'm about capped with this haram life.
Completely,
So what was it
completely.
that told you, hell no, I'm done?
We had gotten into a car accident.
Oh,
It's
you
always
almost
something.
died.
I
You almost died. Hey, you know what? Nothing is going to make you think of Allah than death itself.
Whoa,
That
boy.
makes sense.
Oh boy. Yeah, we had gotten into a car accident. We were, a drunk driver hit me and Christian.
SubhanAllah.
And then I remember sitting there thinking, like, if I would have gone, it wasn't looking pretty for me. It really wasn't. Like, you're partying, you're drinking, you're out, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And you almost died, Jameelah. And I think that it was like, okay, like, it was just things that would be happening to me that kind of like, okay, that'll do it for me. And so I think afterwards, even with Christian deciding that he was becoming Muslim, he was saying that when I was starting to get right again and I was like trying to read Quran and I was trying to like listen to Quran and stuff, he was saying like when he was listening to Quran, like he said, there was a sense of peace. He said it just was like, wow, like I can't explain it. Of course, we know what it is, right? You're like, we know that it's like, this is the truth and this is why you feel the way and your soul is feeling something. You don't know what it is. And mind you, he was a diehard Christian, like big Christian family. He went to church on Sundays and he dressed to the T. You know, like that was him. He's like, my grandfather told me that if you go to church, you need to dress nice. Like, this is how you dress. And that's how he was. And he's like, but it sucks to go alone. And he knows like, oh, I'm not getting involved in that. Like, I can't go to no church. And so I think eventually it was like me, going through something traumatic to pull me back. And then him just kind of like seeing that, maybe like how serious I took it in the time that I did. And because it'd be like moments, you know, you get these moments where you're like, I'm going back to Allah, and then something throws you off, or life becomes how it is. You're getting a normal routine and you forget. So he became Muslim, and, you know, I was so happy. I was so happy. And if I'm being honest, right, throughout our relationship, he was the kind of man that made everybody feel included. He made sure that nobody, no matter who you were or how you were, that you felt included, that you felt loved. I don't think that I've ever met anybody that has known Christian that has a bad thing to say about him. He went out of his way to make people feel good about themselves. He never withheld compliments. Always made sure to tell you that you looked amazing or that, you know, you can do it. He was everybody's cheerleader. He was everyone's cheerleader. But we still struggled. And mainly, I would say, a lot to do with myself. I was coming from a very chaotic, traumatic life, experiencing my mother's traumatic relationships, moving up in the middle of the night, not really understanding how to navigate a healthy relationship. I had never seen one before. This man comes into my life. I'm struggling with my deen. I'm struggling with who I am and where I want to go. And there was a lot of push and pull with that. There was so much push and pull because, one, I was used to chaos and functioning in chaos. When we first got the apartment, I remember like not even wanting to be there too long because it felt like I was genuinely uncomfortable with the safety that he provided because I was so used to my whole life being chaos. So it was like I was seeking for chaos through our relationship. I was looking for problems, genuinely.
Because it was familiar.
So familiar. And what he had brought, it was like boring and mundane to me. It was like, I need to go out and I need to be with my sisters and I need to go save my family. And like, I just was constantly looking like I wasn't comfortable there. Like I loved the love, but I didn't know how to receive it. And I didn't know how to take care of that love. Just because you get a great love doesn't mean you know how to take care of that love. You'll receive something that you're not ready for. You know, and I truly felt that way. Like I couldn't see that now. Back then it was like, this is too much. It felt overwhelming, if I'm being honest. Like this fairy tale love that everybody had talked about, once I had received it, it was like, this is too much. this is overwhelming. And I didn't appreciate it for sure how I should have appreciated it. And I really couldn't handle it. And so he finally becomes Muslim. I thought that him becoming Muslim would fix every problem that we had in our relationship. I thought that that was the only reason why this isn't working out in my head. I said, he just needs to be Muslim. Everything else will work out. No. He became Muslim and I realized it was me. He would urge me to go to therapy and he'd say, like, you just have to work on yourself. And he would encourage me to do better, but it just was like, I wasn't in that place. I was still very young. We got married when I was 18. I was like 20 at this time. I was very young. And he's very mature. He always kind of knew what he wanted. He was the kind of person who gave a lot to so many people, but honestly, like not enough to himself. It's always been that way. But people don't see, like, I think the other side of that. People don't see, like, how much that weighs on you when you're the best at everything and you're everything for everyone all the time, like how hard that is on you. When you don't have, like, a balance of, like, okay, now I can relax or now I'm, okay with not being or giving more. And he struggled just with his own, like, silent struggles, his own issues. I'd say, like, his mental health, really. It was very hard for him. Like, he wouldn't tell anybody. He was very secretive. It would just be me sometimes and his cousin. There's plenty of times where I would have to bring him down from whatever maybe, like, really depressive episodes he was having. And that was a lot for me because I couldn't manage my own chaos, my own life, my own emotions, my own feelings, let alone his. I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't know how to handle it. It was overwhelming. Like, not only was his love overwhelming, but trying to manage his own struggles was very hard for me. And so we struggled with his mental health, and me and his cousin would usually kind of, like, talk him down from his episodes. Talking him down was, like, kind of code for we need him to get him to, like, a place where he doesn't feel hopeless. Because he would feel the sense of, like, hopelessness. Like, what does this all matter? What does this all mean in the world? Like, am I really giving back? Just things like that. Like, he just struggled with trying to find meaning sometimes. I don't really feel like I did a really good job of that. He was very reliant on me to, like, manage the way that he felt. And I couldn't even manage myself. So that was really hard. And so it got to a point where we realized, like, maybe we should go our separate ways.
After both battling with their mental health, Jameelah and Christian found themselves unable to sustain the kind of marriage they had dreamed of, the kind of marriage they had planned for. The love between them, though, was still there. Gentle, familiar, loyal. But love alone wasn't enough to hold everything together. When did it ever? So with heavy hearts, they chose to part ways. Sometime later, while Jameelah was at her mom's house, the phone rings. It was Christian. He was going through a rough patch. He didn't even sound like himself. You can tell that was a person at a place standing on the edge of themselves.
So he calls, he's on the phone, and we're talking him down, and we're saying, like, Christian, like, it's basically like your life is worth something. There's so much out of life. Like, you do have a purpose, and just trying to get him to, like, I think, a stable place. Me and his cousin felt like we did a good job. He said that he's good. He said he's going to take a nap, and that he'll text me when he wakes up. So at this time, like, I'm kind of worried, of course, because I'm like, hopefully he's okay. And I'm kind of, like, in this weird space. I don't know how to express it, but I was very worried about him. And I was at my mom's house at the time. This is kind of like, I was visiting the kids, and I was over there. And I was sitting on the bed, and I was on my phone. And I kind of just sit straight up, like something was amiss or something. So I sit straight up. And I had kind of told my mom about the conversation too. Like, we kind of talked Christian down, and he's feeling better. And, my mom was like, okay, baby, whatever. So I sit up and I go, Mom? She doesn't answer. And I go, Mom? And she comes into the room. She's like, what? What's going on? And I say, Christian's gone. And she goes, what? Why are you saying that? Why are you saying that? And I said, something just told me he's gone. And I said, let's go to his house. So at this point, I look at my phone. I'm looking at my phone, and I'm looking at messages that basically is like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be here. I don't want you to blame yourself for any of this. I want you to live the life that you always wanted to live. I took everything out of my name. I put it all in your name. And I want you to live a good life here. I think immediately when I read it, I was texting back, right? And I'm like, no, don't do it. Like trying to like get a response. Obviously, he wasn't responding. And then I called his leadership and I'm like, somebody needs to go to the house. I just got these text messages. He just sent me all his passwords. He just sent me like everything. He just put money into my account. Somebody needs to go check on him. And his leadership is a little bit closer, and I'm texting his friends as well, because he lived with his friends. They all like roommated. And I'm like, somebody go check on him. So we're getting ready to go and tell my mom we need to get in the car. It's raining. I remember it was raining. And I'm like, all right, take me. I remember I'm just nervous, but it's like I kind of knew already though. To be honest, like after seeing those messages, it was like confirming what I had already kind of felt. So at that time, we drive down. It's about a 20-minute drive from my mom's house at that time. We drive down to his place. And as we're coming down on the street, I see an ambulance with the light coming up. And I look at my mom and I say, he's in that ambulance. My mom goes, you don't know that. Don't say that. You don't know that. I said, no, something just told me he's in the ambulance. And I'm like, still go to the house though. Just to like make sure. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you could be told something directly to your face and you still won't believe it. So we go to the house. And at the house is his leadership, some of his friends, and police. Everybody's out of the house. They're all standing there. And my mom looks at me and like I tell her to let me out of the car because, oh my God, I felt like I wanted to throw up. I felt like I wanted to like, just be gone. And I told her to let me out. I got out and I immediately dropped to my knees. And I prayed to Allah and I said, Ya Allah, forgive him. And I was just praying for him. And I remember just kind of like sitting there. I was dead weight. It was like concrete. I couldn't move. You're like in shock. And my mom said she tried to pick me up and she couldn't pick me up to put me back in the car. And she kept saying like, baby, you need to get up. You need to get up. And I wouldn't get up. She picks me up eventually and she puts me in the car. And I look at her and I say like, I have to get right so that I can pray for him, so that I can help him. And then if I'm being honest, the rest was really a blur. I think when you're in that kind of like state of shock, it's like everything is a blur. So I drove up back to my house and I was scared to go in. I was so scared to go into my house. It was like, I was afraid that maybe like, I don't know what it was, right? You're just in shock. I was scared to go inside and I'm like, Mom, I can't go inside. I'm shaking. I'm like, I can't go inside, Mom. She's like, baby, you got to get out of the car. So I finally go inside and I'm sitting and I'm like, immediately go make wudu. Immediately go pray. Immediately all I'm doing is praying for him. And I'm just saying, Ya Allah, forgive him. Ya Allah, forgive him. And then the next day, honestly, I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep because I was afraid that he would come to me and I wouldn't see him in a good state. And I was like afraid of that. Like I was afraid that I'd see him in a dream and he would be sad or he would be not in a good situation and I didn't want to see it. So I literally my mom said, I just sat up on the wall and I wouldn't go to sleep because I was scared.
Wow.
Yeah. So, man, Christian's death was easily one of the hardest things I've ever been through. Easily. So after this, to try to explain in chronological order, it's hard because I don't remember. Every day was the same for me. Every day to me felt like, I can't believe he's gone. I can't believe he took his own life. And I don't know what to do. I think I was just kind of like maybe pretending like everything was okay to my family, but I was just like in deep sajda in the closet, just crying every single day, asking Allah to forgive him, because to me it was like, what else can I do? And then afterward, in the military, when you pass away, you automatically get like a significant amount of money. So when you die, no matter whether you had committed suicide or if you had died, the military gives the significant other or the family money. That's how it goes. They give you a lot of money. They give you like almost $500,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So they give you like almost $500,000. And
SubhanAllah.
so when he passed away, before he passed away, they said like minutes before he passed away, it's all in the report, he took everything out of anyone else's name, like in his family that he was going to give anything to, and in his will, and he gave it all to me.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He wants to take care of you even if he wasn't there.
Yeah. And even in his letter to me, he made that clear. Like, he said, do everything you couldn't do while I was here. That's what he says in the letter when he was writing before he passed away, before he killed himself. He wrote to me, do everything you wanted to do in this life that we couldn't because of money.
Oh my goodness. Christian saw you go through so much.
Yeah.
He just wanted to offer that.
Yeah. Always been the way.
I felt like you needed it more.
And he could have given it to his mother. Like, we weren't together. You know, at that point, we were getting legally separated. He could have easily decided to do something else with that. But I think even towards the end, he wrote, no matter what, remember that I've always loved you.
Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel.
So I think when we talk about experiencing love, I think he has to be the full embodiment of it. That, like, you could have given it to anyone or, you know, but it was like, no matter what, the love that he had for me, he still showed it. And alhamdulillah, like, I was able to give that back. So, you know, the military does the investigation before they dish out you any money. Trust that. Once they cleared it, alhamdulillah, with that money, I was able to build him a masjid. Immediately, I mean, the money that he left, he's like, oh, go do something. And I think, like, I just told when I was talking to him and, like, I guess to Christian in a sense, but just letting him know, like, I'm going to give a lot of this to charity for you. And I'm going to build you a masjid. And I'm going to build you wells. And I'm going to donate in your name. And I'm going to do every single thing I could possibly do to help you. So that's what I did.
Wow. You built him a mosque.
Yeah.
And he's been a Muslim for what? 1 year? 2 years?
Yeah. 2 years. Yeah. Yeah.
What a flex. What a flex.
Thanks to him. Thanks to him.
Imagine being like, yo, I've been Muslim for like 18 months, fam. I got a message.
Yeah.
What? Allahumma barik.
Yeah.
Where is this masjid?
The masjid is somewhere I had my brother-in-law who, like, does that, like, with different contractors overseas. And he put it somewhere in Gambia. I haven't gone to visit. I haven't. I definitely should. And I remember when I was building this and I was thinking, like, He is so wise in the way that he does things. Because perhaps this was for Christian, that every time someone prays in that masjid, that he will receive the blessing. But perhaps it was a woman's prayer that had to walk too far to get to a masjid. It's like Allah may have answered so many du'as by being able to build a masjid. We think sometimes so small, like the world revolves around us, but really Allah is working like on a cosmic level. Like, yes, he will inshallah receive all the blessings from that masjid. But perhaps it was a woman somewhere or a man who prayed for a masjid to be in their city or in their town. And now they have one. Alhamdulillah, like,
it's like, subhanAllah, you're right. Like, it's how Allah takes care of everybody in their situations, right? Like, Christian needed that, you know? And then also the people in Gambia needed it.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's subhanAllah, Allah sometimes wisdom is beyond we can understand, like, fully understand.
Yeah.
It's what makes Allah SWT the greatest writer, you know? Like, Allah SWT, like, you know, when they always say, you'll have trust, if we were to zoom out of our life, I always say this, okay? I always said to myself, if I die and I make the Jannah and Allah says, ask me anything, I would literally ask him, Ya Allah, show me all the du'as you didn't accept from me because you had something else planned.
Wow.
And show me what, like a full zoomed out, the reason for it.
Right.
Was it you denied me this because there was something else better, but not better just for me as an individual, but that it was going to be bigger than me?
Right.
That you were going to let me be a part of something much bigger. You know what I mean? Like all the times I missed the bus. Wow. Maybe I was about to get in a car accident because my great-great-grandmother made dua for me that her lineage would continue. And that, you know, like that, all of this, it's like this massive...
It's always full circle. We can't see the circle, but it's there.
It's there. Because, you know, subhanAllah, like, there's no way 100% knowing that we're going to know every reason that Allah SWT accepts a dua or denies one or delays it. We'll never know fully, right?
Yeah.
But as Muslims, being a part of a believer is to believe the best of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we think of a full circle, you think one meeting point going back to another meeting point. When I think about a circle, I often think about the dunya, right? The world is a circle, right? We're all on a journey back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, I think about that often. Like, what is the journey? And as I reflect about Christian, and his life. I can understand the heaviness that he felt. I think what Christian came to know was the truth of this dunya, that it is an absolute distraction. It is a place of illusion. And if you really zoom out, the world isn't something that we should strive for, because it always will leave us. It will always leave us. We will never be able to catch it. Its expectations, its needs from us, the day-to-day. When you're not fully aligned or understand that this life is but fleeting, and you don't fully submit to your purpose, the dunya becomes extremely overwhelming and dark. Because where's the light in that darkness? If you're in a cave somewhere, right? We're in a dark cave, right? And you don't see no light, and you say, this is just a result of my life, is that I'm going to be in darkness forever. Then what is the point of getting out of that darkness? It's just where you reside. But we know as Muslims that the light peeking through is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says the heart will not find rest except in what? His remembrance, our purpose, our understanding of what comes after this life. I can understand that Christian was weighted by that knowledge, and did not have that context to understand how to see that weight, because that weight isn't forever. That weight, that loss, that darkness isn't forever. But subhanAllah, when I really take it in, like I really were to pan out right now, zoom out to the story and really look at what Allah has done for Christian, I'm beyond touched. I'm beyond touched because Christian fell in love with a girl who so happened to be a Muslim, who at the time wasn't practicing, was actually going through a really difficult time, became her everything, supported her, loved her, truly, I believe from the bottom of his heart. And in the end, when the knowledge of this world got too heavy for him, and he passed away, and he returned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I can say with conviction and so much love and respect that he returned to Allah as a Muslim. He returned to Allah as a Muslim. And what's even more beautiful to reflect on is that despite how he returned, it's not for us to judge or to contemplate or to fully understand what may and may not be. But what I can see right now as I am living, as Jameelah is living, is that she, his only living Muslim family member, built a masjid on his behalf, gave sadaqah on his behalf, gave in his way, and makes dua for him until this day. What a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What a mercy. You know, it reminds me of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where it says that the best thing to leave on this earth if you were to part from it is a righteous child. Because a righteous child will make dua for you. A righteous child will give in your way. And when everyone's forgotten, your child remembers you. It's funny because Christian doesn't have any children. Christian only has one family member, and that's Jameelah. And yet, the mechanism of that hadith is applying to him. In this case, although Jameelah isn't his child, she's giving in his way like a righteous child. She is making dua for him, and that is rizq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that came in a form of love. And while their journey in the beginning wasn't perfect, it never is, I can still see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy upon us all. And all praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Honestly, if you would have seen me trying to grieve during that time, you would have been like, she's doing amazing. Like, she looks like she has her life together. Like, she's doing great. She's like trying to travel with her sister. She's with her family. She's in California with her dad. Man, I don't think I numbed out as much as I did after he passed. Man, I immediately decided I'm going to get out of the military. I immediately decided that nothing that I was doing, that I was going to do 20 years in the military. I had decided I'm not going to do this anymore because it doesn't matter anymore. nothing matters more to me than getting right with Allah. Like, nothing mattered. It was like, yeah, Allah, like, forgive me. I've been so blind. I was getting ready to go to Jersey. Like, I had just taken a bartending class to be able to bartend for extra money when I got to Jersey. Like, that's the path I was headed on.
Yeah.
And like, Allah had completely like just stopped my world. And it was hard. It was so hard. I numbed out, actually. Like, I don't remember actually dealing with my pain. I remember just kind of like wanting to do things and wanting to spend money and wanting to just not act like my life was what it was. Wanting to be okay, but not really being okay. I just was kind of like going through my day-to-day, pretending like everything was okay. And eventually I just crashed. It gets to a point where like you can only numb out so long to then when you start to crash. And eventually it got to a point where I said, I need to get some help. I can't keep numbing and hanging out with friends and traveling to just stop pretending like I'm not dealing with an enormous amount of grief. Like, I wasn't with this man for 6 years and like everything's okay. Everything is not okay. And so I had started therapy. I had started to deal with my emotions, and I started to understand why I had made all the decisions that I had made around love. Like, I was trying to survive. Like, Christian had so much love and he had so much to give me, but I couldn't receive it. I couldn't really treasure that love because I didn't know what love was. And it wasn't until after he passed that I realized I've got to really get a grip. I've got to get a grip, and I've got to figure this out, and I've got to go to therapy. So I did. I did really deep therapy, and a lot of it, obviously, it always goes back to childhood, but basically, it was like, Jameelah, you have constantly needed everyone else to regulate your life. Now is your opportunity to do it on your own. Stop regulating on your friends to do it. Stop needing your friends to regulate your emotions. Stop needing men to regulate your emotions. Stop looking for attention. Stop spending money. Stop using different vices to get over. Stop drinking. Stop going out. Stop doing these things. You need to focus on yourself. And that's exactly what I did. So I stopped the nonsense. It took a year. It took a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But I stopped it. So after that, I was kind of like living in Colorado, understanding that I needed to find community, that I needed to find Islam, that I really needed to find myself.
So, but where are you going to find the Muslims in Colorado, though?
Right.
Where are they at?
Right. So I had decided, like, I knew that there wasn't much of a community. So I told my sister who was living in Egypt, I said, I'm coming to Egypt. I'm going to come and I'm going to learn. Yeah.
Everybody goes to Egypt. Let me tell you, though, Egypt is the craziest pipeline. Okay, Egypt is a pipeline. The day you start to get, like, everyone's iman is at 100, we're going to Egypt. Pack it up. We're going to go study Arabic. We're going to go to the desert. We're going to tussle with some Egyptians.
It's time to touch grass. Time to touch the sand.
Because, Egypt is the story of, of knowledge. Egypt is where knowledge is at. Like, if we're talking about Arabic, we're talking about Quran. Yeah. It's Egypt, baby. But Egypt is hard life, too.
Right.
Like, Egypt is going to test your deen, but it's going to do the best. Like, I don't know anybody that came back from Egypt that isn't better for it. Mm-hmm. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I was headed. We didn't make it very far, though. We did not make it very far. I told my sister I'm on my way. She was looking for apartments for me. I was, like, legit trying to go. She's looking for apartments. I said, my lease is coming up from Colorado. I'm ready to really practice. I put on my hijab. I'm eating halal. Like, I'm on my way.
Whoa.
I put the Chick-fil-A down. Like, I'm ready. And so I told my dad, it's Ramadan. It's almost Ramadan during this time. My dad's like, I want you to come and visit me. Just come and visit me before you leave. Like, I know you're about to get ready to go to Egypt, but just come and see me. So I said, okay, like, I'll come see you. So I came to visit. And while I'm visiting, he's like, let's go for a walk. I'm like, okay, let's go for a walk. He's like, how are you doing? Keeping caught up with my healing process. And he's like, actually, I want you to meet somebody. I said, oh my God. Like,
here we go.
I said, don't you think I've had enough smoke with love? Like, don't you think I've had enough? Like, I don't want no problems. Please, no. He's like, no, man. I've been vetting him out for a year. This guy is legit. He is an amazing man. Let me introduce you guys.
Does anybody want to come up here and change your life and give it to God? And I said, yeah.
Huh? Who's that? Who's that man? I hope you loved this week's episode. I hope you guys loved it as much as I loved it. And it doesn't end here. You're going to have to stay tuned for next week to hear where this story goes. But before that, this episode is brought to you by Muzz. Thank you, Muzz. Thank you, Muzz, for believing in these stories and for helping us bring them to life. The girlies are eating this season because of you. So thank you. Digital. guys go, I gotta hand out some flowers as I do every episode. Thank you, Lamisah, Jahan, for developing and producing this beautiful episode. They are not ready for part 2, sis. They're not ready, and I just know they're just gonna, like, literally, their heads are gonna spin backwards. Thank you, Khweya Bezeid, for leading the troops this season. You led us to glory, to winning. Thank you, sister. The podcast team, Maheen, Naomi, Sarah, for writing and assisting wherever we needed you. Thank you. Youssef and Yahya for the incredible sound designing. This episode, you guys never fail. Wasima, Farah, wow. Illustration, 10/10. What a beautiful cover art. Thank you so much. And to Image Inc., thank you for marketing Lovember in the way that you have. It's been beautiful and fun working with you guys this season. Honorable mentions, Nora Ishil, Safiya Muhammad, Hanan Shil, Aisha, and the Muzz team. See you guys next week. Bye.